Hey guys, so we've covered quite a bit this term. You guys know that Jesus, he's a man on a mission. You know that God, he's got a mission for you. You know that your mission is to love God and to love others. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, well, we've pretty much done everything. So what's next? What's left? And the first thing that came to my mind, and I don't know why it didn't come to me earlier because it's probably the most obvious question, is what happens when you stuff up your mission? What happens when your mission gets stuffed up by something you do or by someone else's stupid actions? What happens? Is that also a part of God's mission? A few years back, someone really, really close to me, they were in a car accident. And what happened was they were going super fast around a corner. They were just speeding and the road conditions weren't good. And they lost control of their car and the car spun out and it crashed into the wall of a house. And the car was so smashed up, it was so damaged that when the tow truck people came to collect it, they actually had to tie it together with ropes to keep it in one piece to get it onto the truck. And when the rescue team, when they came to pull the guy out of the car, when they used the jaws of life to cut it open, they weren't expecting to see a live body because it was so rare that someone would escape from a crash like that. It was so rare, and they just expected it to be just another road fatality. And yet, for some miraculous reason, this guy escaped without a scratch, without a broken bone in his body, completely unharmed. But that's not all to the story. Get this, and this bit still gives me goosebumps till this day. The owners of this house, they were a couple, and they just had a baby, and at the time of the crash, their baby was 4 months old. 40 seconds, not a minute, not 2 minutes, not an hour, 40 seconds before the car crash, this father and his 4-month-old baby were standing in that exact same place that the car hit the wall. And for some reason, the father decided, I just want to go inside, I'm going to get a drink, and I'll come back out. And so within those 30 to 40 seconds, the car crashed against the wall, and the father came back out to just find this car there. See, there is no doubt in my mind that if that father was standing in that spot, that either he or his daughter would have lost their lives. There is no doubt in my mind that that baby girl, if she was there, would not be alive today. See, the father, he didn't walk away from that wall because it was a coincidence or by chance. It's not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that he just randomly decided to go get a glass of water exactly 40 seconds before the crash. And I know I'm emphasizing this a lot, but man, if he had waited just an extra 30, 35 seconds, that could have meant the loss of 1, if not 2 lives. And when I think of this, my mind is just flooded with these overwhelming thoughts about how crazy it is, how insane it is that God has everything in his hand. He's planned it all out. And how crazy it is that he chose to protect not 1, not 2, but 3 lives that day. And you know what I find really funny at times is, and really weird, is sometimes we'll be like, well, if God really wanted to protect him, if God really had everything planned out, then why didn't he just stop that car from crashing? Why didn't he just provide this force field that would have made the car bounce off the wall instead of slamming straight into it? And I pause and I think about it for a moment and I'm like, actually, it was through this guy's own stupidity, his own reckless driving, his own foolishness that he crashed into the wall. And in actual fact, it was God who had mercy on him, and it was purely and it was only because of God's grace that he escaped that crash and that no one died that day. See, what God did is he goes, given these circumstances, what can I do in order to glorify myself? What can I do? I want to give this guy an opportunity to live and to tell his story, and through that, maybe people will get to know me. And he did, and that's why I get to share his story with you guys tonight. I don't want to just share the circumstance, but I want to share with you how God used that to teach others and to glorify himself. This guy, he chose to speed around the corner. He chose to drive badly. And God chose to protect a father, his daughter, and the driver who made the stupid mistake. Also that God would be glorified through that miracle. Do you see what I'm getting at? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? God only had to intervene because the driver made a mistake. It wasn't God's fault that he crashed, it was the driver's fault. The driver stuffed up. See, I believe that God has this power to use a negative experience that's caused by ourselves or by someone else, one created by ourselves or by someone else, to teach and benefit us and those around us. See, at the end of Genesis, right, there's this guy, and his name is Joseph. Now, Joseph, he was the second youngest out of 12 brothers. And I don't know about your family, but in my family, the youngest brother pretty much gets forgotten about. Actually, my little brother, he's so forgotten about. We have so little pictures of him that when he was 4 years old, we convinced him that we got him in a Macca's meal. And he believed us. And so in my mind, the youngest is usually the one that gets completely forgotten about. But Joseph, because he was the youngest, he seemed to spend all this time with his father, and as a result, he became really close with his dad.